Alright, buckle up, Buttercups, because we're about to hop into our digital P38 Lightnings and take on the Axis powers. What's going on, Retro Rebels? It's your boy NES Chronicles, and today we're diving headfirst into a classic from the golden age of gaming, 1942 for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Now, if you were a kid in the late 80s with an NES and a thirst for aerial combat, chances are you spent more than a few afternoons blasting zeros out of the pixelated skies in this bad boy. But does it still hold up today? Is it a nostalgic trip worth taking, or is it just a historical relic best left gathering digital dust? Let's find out. Right off the bat, you're thrown into the thick of it. You're piloting a P-38 Lightning, a seriously cool twin-boom fighter, and the skies are absolutely swarming with enemy aircraft. We're talking about biplanes, single-engine fighters, bombers. It's like a World War II air show gone completely bonkers. The gameplay is classical vertical scrolling shooter. You move your plane with the D-pad, fire your machine guns with the B button, and unleash your special move, the barrel roll.
A barrel roll.
With the A button. And let me tell you, that barrel roll is
a barrel roll.
Best friend in this game. It not only makes you temporarily invincible, but it also looks pretty darn slick, even in glorious 8-bit. It's like saying, "Not today, Satan," to a zero. For those of you who cut your teeth on later shmups like Gradius, or even the more modern bullet hell games, 1942 might seem a little bit tame. The enemy fire patterns aren't super intricate, and you're not dodging a million projectiles at once. But remember, this was 1986. This was cutting-edge stuff back then. Think of this as the granddaddy of all those crazy bullet-dodging games you love today. It laid the foundation, brick by glorious pixelated brick. Compared to other NES shooters of the time, like say Twinbee, 1942 definitely had a more serious tone, despite the sometimes comical way your plane would just vanish in a puff of smoke when you got hit. No cute bells to collect here, folks, just cold, hard aerial combat. One of the things that really stands out about 1942 is the sheer number of enemies they throw at you. The screen can get pretty chaotic, and keeping track of everything is a real challenge. You've got to be constantly moving, constantly firing, and constantly ready to bust out that sweet barrel roll. It's like trying to juggle chainsaws while riding a unicycle, except with more explosions. And speaking of explosions, while they might not be the most visually stunning by today's standards, there's a certain charm to those chunky pixelated fireballs. Each one represents a satisfying victory against the Axis war machine. Plus the sound effects, that classic NES pew 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 of your machine guns and the kaboom of an exploding enemy are pure auditory nostalgia. It's the sound of a million childhood afternoons well spent. Now let's talk about power-ups. Throughout your missions, you'll occasionally encounter formations of red enemy planes. If you take them down, they just might drop a precious power-up. We're talking about things like extra wingmen, who are basically just smaller versions of your plane that fly alongside you and add extra firepower. It's like having a tiny squadron backing you up. You can even snag power-ups that give you a spread shot or a more powerful main gun. These power-ups are crucial for survival, especially when you start facing the bigger, tougher enemy aircraft. The game is broken down into a series of missions, 32 to be exact, each with its own unique set of challenges and enemy formations. You're going to be flying over vast oceans, through island chains, and eventually, if you're skilled enough, you'll even take on a massive boss aircraft. These boss battles, while not the most complex in gaming history, can still be pretty tough. They usually involve figuring out their attack patterns and finding the right moment to unleash a barrage of fire. It's a classic David vs. Goliath scenario, except David is a heavily armed P-38 and Goliath is probably a giant, heavily armed bomber. Now let's address the elephant in the hangar, the difficulty. 1942 can be a surprisingly challenging game. You only get a limited number of lives, and once they're gone, it's game over, man. There are no continues in the NES version, which means you've got to start all the way back at the beginning if you bite the dust. This can be very frustrating, sure, but it also adds to the sense of accomplishment when you finally manage to clear a difficult stage or take down a particularly nasty boss. It's the kind of game that makes you want to throw your controller at the wall one minute and then pump your fist in the air the next. Compared to Capcom's later arcade and console shmups, 1942 feels a bit more forgiving in some ways, but the lack of continues definitely cranks up the pressure. It's a different kind of challenge. It's more about endurance and mastering the basic mechanics than memorizing intricate bullet patterns. One of the more unique aspects of 1942 is the way your plane sometimes seems to take an absurd amount of damage before going down, while other times a single stray bullet will send you plummeting into the digital sea. It's a bit inconsistent, and to be honest, can lead to some truly head-scratching moments. You'll be thinking, how did I survive that 1 second, and then wait, what happened the next? It's part of the game's quirky charm, I suppose. Or maybe it's just bad hit detection. We'll truly never know. Despite its age and some of its quirks, there's still something undeniably fun about 1942. It's a straightforward, action-packed shooter that throws you right into the heart of the action and keeps you on your toes. It's a perfect example of that classic NES gameplay loop, challenging but rewarding, and always tempting you to try just one more time. Plus, the chiptune jingles are pure ear candy for any retro gaming enthusiast. It's the kind of earworm that gets stuck in your head for days and you won't even be mad about it. So is 1942 worth revisiting in 2025? Absolutely. It's a fantastic piece of gaming history and a genuinely enjoyable shooter in its own right. It might not have all the bells and whistles of modern games, but it offers a pure, unadulterated dose of arcade-style action that's hard to resist. If you're a fan of retro games, shmups, or just want to experience a classic from the NES library, then you owe it to yourself to give 1942 a spin. Just be prepared for a challenge, and don't be surprised if you find yourself yelling at the screen a few times. That's all part of the fun. Alright, Retro Warriors, that's my take on 1942 for the NES. What are your memories of this classic shooter? Did you spend countless hours battling the Axis? What were your favorite power-ups? Let me know in the comments below. I love hearing your retro gaming stories. If you enjoyed this high-flying adventure through the pixelated skies of World War II, then make sure to smash that like button. It helps the channel out a lot more than you know. And if you want to see more deep dives into classic NES games, be sure to subscribe to NES Chronicles for more retro goodness. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep running, keep jumping, and keep gaming. I'm out.